did you want to hang out? Were you like, okay, dad, like summons Jason Priestley to the house for me?
No. Summon the Priestley.
I mean, if he
No.
called a meeting there, he would probably be.
No, I was shy. I was shy. I mean, I loved hanging out with Jason. I was sort of like everyone's little brother when I'd be around. I was Tori's little brother. So I remember going to rap parties and, people would be sneaking me drinks and cocktails. So I had a great rapport with them, but it was never like, oh yeah, dad, can you call Jason so I could hang out with him? No.
And was it weird, like when your sister became, because like it was your father, that's what you grew up with. Like then when like with your sister, you, like you said, you go to the mall and your father's nowhere to be seen, but like Tori can't even walk in the mall. Like, was that strange for you? Even though you didn't really want that?
No,
No?
I don't think it was strange because when we would go out and I would go to a premiere or I would go to something, I'd have to get dressed up and of course there'd be cameras and I'd be taking pictures. So I got used to it. Um, and I think it's just something that I accepted and got used to. That's what happens. You're on TV, you get recognized. It's really simple. It's kind of part of the job.
But then what about the, like, because like you say something to these people and they take it with them, but then what about the fact that in a way, I would think for certain like actors, it's isolating because like they don't know anything about you. So it's a strange, like there's all this love, but it's in a way there's a lot of love because if you're good at your craft and they are and I'm not taking that away. This is not a criticism,
Sure.
but in a way that's where people say, I mean, even people that listen to this podcast will say, I love you. I love you. I'm like, okay, well, you don't know me. Like, I mean, I think don't a lot of actors go through that too?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you see actors, actresses who are struggling, and it's very hard to be in a profession where everyone thinks it's amazing, right? You're famous, you have it all. Without realizing, I don't care what you put on Instagram or Facebook or, what you portray. We are all human. We all have emotions. We all have ups and downs. And so that conversation needs to be had because otherwise it's people are looking at a snapshot or they see the character and they assume that person is exactly like their character without being human. Like, oh, you must be, the character that you portray. And so they're still looking at that person as the character without making the distinction. This person is different. They're playing a role. They're doing a
Right.
job.
Right. That's true. Were you a huge Melrose Place fan as well?
I did like Melrose Place too. Not as huge as 90210, but I watched every episode.
It was literally the best show that's ever existed. Let me just put that out there. But so now, I mean, did you ever hang out with like any of the actresses like Shannen, Jenni?
Not alone. I remember going to Shannon's house a couple times with my sister earlier on in the show. Shannen used to wrestle with me, in the first year or two of 90210. And I remember calling my friends, I got beat up by Shannen Doherty, like my claim to fame. Yeah. And I'd see these people around, but the only one that I ever really hung out with myself was Brian Green. Him and I had a friendship. He did music at the time. So when I was 17, 18, he helped me set up my little music studio. And, we hung out a fair amount through the years back then.
What about Charmed? Did you watch Charmed?
I did watch Charmed. I didn't watch every episode of Charmed.
Good.
I also then started working and got busy and, but I liked it.
It was so good. I mean, so look, we didn't have social media back then, but do you remember the like hoopla around like from living not in it, but like the whole Shannen thing where, like, listen, Shannen got asked to leave 2 shows and, now it's what is that? That's nothing, because look at, like, to your point, where we are now with social media. But like, in a way, Shannen was social media before there was social media.
Yeah. So I never really got involved in that. I still don't get involved in that. People ask me all the time uh,
Really?
about things to do with Tori, my sister, and I purposely don't read those things, see those things. It's not because I want to keep my head in the sand. It's because I don't want to take a ride on the drama train with that. If someone's going to tell me something and share it with me, great, let's talk about it. If not, it's not my business. It's not, yeah, not my thing.